All right. Good week of practice. Good to be outside. Energy, juice. You guys are really competing hard. So got to go on the road, play really well as a team to find a way to win versus a good football team. So that's our focus. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Either Said or Martin are close to clearing the protocol?
They're in the appropriate place in that protocol. You just have to follow each step, and we're hopeful on both guys.
With Said, Kevin, usually a guy doesn't practice for 2 weeks before clearing the protocol. So I'm just curious how that kind of works, where he's allowed to practice but isn't out of the protocol.
Yeah, I'd have to get into the ins and out of that thing, which is, it's a really good protocol. They do a great job communicating with us, which the guys can and can't do based on how they're feeling and that type of thing. So we'll just follow it to a T, really. Yeah, I think he's good. Good to go. Just felt a little something, but he'll be okay.
David, I know he didn't practice the first couple days, but today that hamstring is, I imagine it's something that right up till game time with him.
He practiced today. He's very motivated to play. We'll see how he responds to practicing today and make the decision on Sunday.
How have you felt like PCR has looked over this past week of taking the starting role?
Yeah, I think he's doing a nice job. I think it's so important for young quarterbacks, young players, period, to get better every single day of the week. I think what happens on Wednesday when you get handed a game plan, it feels like you're drinking through a fire hose. There's a lot of information, and then by Friday you feel really good about it. So I think there's a natural progression for a quarterback, certainly a young quarterback, and the goal is for Sunday he feels really good about it, and I think we're trending there.
Speaking of Dorian, when he's played for you, I know it's been sporadically, but it feels like it's kind of frenetic a little bit sometimes. Like, do you talk to him about having to calm down, whether it's trying to hurdle guys or firing the ball too hard?
Well, I think each player certainly has their own style, if you will, and his style is the way he's played his whole life, and it's gotten him here, and he's had great success. Certainly you want to do things that take care of yourself in those moments, Scott, like you're talking about, but he really understands how to play this position and has to know when to take care of himself and those type of things. But part of playing free on Sundays is just knowing your job and understanding your role on the team.
Being a little bit limited with the shoulder this week, is he still going to be the number 2?
Potentially. I want to see how he feels really going through this week. Didn't feel great, but see how he responds in the next couple of days. Just sore, yeah, from previous game.
Your fair catch free kick today?
We watched it as a team. Great job. Congratulations to Coach Fick and the special teams coach out there. Is a good friend, and they were on top of it. So we definitely watched that this morning as a team.
You would have worked on at some point during
We talk about it quite a bit. Bubba was playing on the 49ers when they did it the last time in a game, and obviously was not good because that was the first one that was good last night. But it's something you always think about on a backed up punt. That punt was the punter was standing on the 10-yard line, so you're not thinking about it in the moment until that 15-yard penalty kicks in, and then certainly it'd be with no time on the clock. It's kind of a no-brainer.
The strength of kickers' legs these days. We've seen kickoffs challenge the uprights.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that improves, that maybe that can be something that coaches think about?
I think it's so rare though, because if you miss that, you're covering the kick. There's risk involved there as well. So I don't know that it's something that you'll see more of. All of those variables have to be in place in a very unique situation.
This is expected to play this game. That's the word out of Cincinnati. So, what does that add to the game?
Yeah, great player. We have a ton of respect for this team, but certainly T. Higgins is a elite player. He goes up and gets the ball versus every coverage, great speed. As you know, they have multiple guys that you have to concern yourself with.
Around just the last few weeks, just how has he sort of taken on an even bigger role in that offense, running and catching? Yeah,
another player we know well. We know what he's capable of. Can make plays, like you mentioned, in the run game, in the pass game. Runs hard. He's quick, elusive. He's a really good player.
Shelby down, is that an opportunity for Mike Hall?
Yeah, it's an opportunity for all those guys, Darryl. I think certainly Mike, as he's come back and and had a role for us, his reps will increase. But I think Shelby's played really, really good football for us. So this is a thing where a bunch of guys have to take on a bigger role.
Since leading the league with sacks, what makes him so effective, and how have you seen Jermaine, whatever it is, 4 stars now?
Sure. Hendrickson's the first thing you notice about him is his motor. He just goes really, really hard throughout the down. You have to, even if you're double teaming him or a running back's over there, a tight end's over there, he's just going to keep rushing. So understanding that you have to play through the whistle versus him. And then he's got a great combination of athleticism, bend, power. Really, he can do it all.
This is go this week on ball security and trying to win this turnover battle.
Yeah, it's. I wish you could speak it into existence, Mary Kay. You can't. I've tried. It's a technique thing. Is so much of it, and that's what we put the focus on. I think you don't say to a player, "Hey," if a player drops the ball, you don't say, "Hey, catch the ball." You give them coaching points. You tell them about their technique. So we focus on the technique and just understand how important that ball is to everything we're trying to do.
Denzel having arguably his best season as a pro this year. Jamar Chase is lighting it up. So is Joe Burrow. Obviously, I know you're rooting for Denzel, but just as a football coach and a fan, how exciting of a matchup is that?
Certainly 2 great players. I think when you're talking about competition and this game, sometimes this game does come down to one-on-one matchups. Now, it's not every play, but sometimes it's a great defensive end versus a great offensive tackle, or a great wide receiver versus a great DB. Those are the matchups that I think are fun for our fans to watch, certainly as coaches and players. But it's also within the framework of the greatest team game there is. So there's certainly matchups, but it's going to be about us playing really good defense when facing the Bengals offense.
Earlier this week, that when asked about if he thinks this is kind of like an audition for him to be the starter next year, he said, "Oh yeah, excited for the opportunity, going to make the most of it." Is that how you guys view these last 3 games with him?
Yeah, I'm so week to week, honestly, and every player should feel that way. That's the right attitude to have. But I'm really I don't know who we play next week. We're so concerned with this one. You guys will have to tell me. Okay, Miami it is. Okay, thanks, guys.